Am I all good?
Are any of us all good? Don't die to a tornado, please.
I mean, not anymore. They're gone. They've moved on. I know we got a late start, but I've got a nice scotch to calm my nerves. And while I drink this, roll intro.
Alrighty, hello and welcome to the 2022 Saudi Arabia Grand Prix episode here with the 107% podcast crew. I am the Papaya Mask, Cody Cattles Miller, and joining me as usual is the Tifosi fanboy returned
Dun
himself,
da da da.
Faxi, the Greek optimist. Question mark?
big,
Question mark.
big question mark, and we'll talk about that.
All right.
Hey,
Well,
hey, Cody.
before we get started, hey, no.
Okay.
You hush. I'm plugging our social media. You get over it.
Okay.
Thank you all for tuning in, whether on Spotify or on YouTube. And make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at the 107 Podcast on all of them. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. I got a lot of great feedback from everybody. And we're going into our second week as we kind of doubled up last week with our preseason shakedown special and our Bahrain race week. So I just want to say thank you for all of that. Faxi, what were you going to say?
I mean, we have our first monogassed leader of the World Driver Championship right now.
He is.
Fucking Charles Leclerc, number 1. Carlos Sainz, number 2. Ferrari has the perfect weekend.
Ferrari hype train.
Oh my god.
Choo, motherfucker.
I'm still timid about it. I want to jump on, and the more you talk about it, the more I'm hopping on. But
Just hop right on.
I don't know.
You already reserved your ticket. It's just a matter of claiming it.
I want to. I want to believe.
Yeah. First, I want before we get into too much into like race, I want to talk qualifying.
Okay.
I called it Hulk over Stroll. I told you.
Okay, but let's remember that the true results are counted on Sunday, and I do see a Sir Lancethan Stroll P12
Okay, if we look at it, it had
and
to do with the.
a Sir Niconomics Hulkenberg in 17th.
Okay, we have to say it was severely altered because of the safety car at the end in terms of pit stop timings. If we're talking on track performance, Nico for the most part was doing better.
Okay.
Nico also didn't almost take out on the driver.
Okay, but like Stroll still finished ahead, so I was right.
Yeah, he did. It only took 3 Red Bull powertrain DNFs to make it happen, but it happened.
It did. I will
K-Mag
give you that.
I'm so you know how hyped I am about K-Mag supremacy. Seeing his quality, I was like, all right, okay, maybe we got something here.
And then he just blows it out of the water. And then I just want to point out, and I went back and I listened to last week. You said Yuki wasn't going to get points.
Yeah, you're right.
I just wanted to hear you say that I'm right. How do you think Yuki feels knowing he was the highest finishing Red Bull engine?
Probably not great, given the reason why he was. It's all 3 DNFs.
I mean, sitting here going through the results, obviously Carlos 1-2, Lewis gets a surprise podium in 3rd. George Russell knew he was going to be up there. I'll be honest, I thought he was going to be a little further down, but also because of the Red Bull still being in it. So George 4th, K-Mag supremacy in 5th. I'm still surprised that I see a Valtteri Bottas in 6th.
He drove so well. He qualified really well. Like, I think my surprise of the weekend, honestly, was Alpha as a whole.
I will agree 100%. And I was going to ask you later, what was your big surprise? Who was your driver of the weekend? And I think, aside from Charles, I have to give it to Valtteri.
I have to give it to K-Mag.
Okay. I figured you would give it to K-Mag.
I think biggest surprise was Alpha. I had low expectations for him. Like, the most surprising.
You and I had no expectations just a week ago. Let's see. Valtteri 6th. Mr. Ocon in 7th. Yuki, just going to say I called it again, sitting in 8th. El Plan finishes 9th. Zhou Guan Yu, probably the other big surprise, scoring his first F1 point. Articles coming out to say he is emotionally and physically drained after his first F1 race. I'm not surprised. But good on him. Mick barely missed out on points. I say barely. He was 9 seconds behind Zhou in 11th. I've got some questions for you about Mick after this.
Yep.
Stroll, 12th. Saw an interesting tweet from Chainbear. I wanted to get your reactions on this, sir.
All right, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything from Train Bear the past few days, so.
Alexander Albon, 13th. He was mentioning that he is surprised he did so good in a car that probably deserved to be P19. What are your thoughts on that statement?
My statement is McLaren exists.
Oof. We were not expecting McLaren to do what they did. And there it is. I mean, Danny Rick, 14th. I am surprised Danny finished in front of Lando.
It was because of the pit stop strategy for Norris rather than drive.
Fair. Very fair. I mean, even then, I'm still a little surprised. I am surprised that Nico finished behind Latifi.
Again, it was for the Nico
Still
and
surprised.
But it came down to pit stop strategy. That's why he finished where he did.
Still surprised. Can't change my mind.
Still not surprising as overall as a whole, Merc customer teams having the bottom 6.
Yeah, you and I are probably looking at the same thing. The bottom 6.
I was already talking point.
Did you
What
write
the
that down?
fuck?
Oh, you put Merc customer teams, but I'm looking right at the classification right now. Yeah, what the hell? And you know what? I had messaged you after, and I was like, I'm not too mad at what they did. I have a thought, and I'm actually taking it back. Because I thought we were 2 years out from the new engines. We're 4 years out.
Yeah.
We are still far enough away to where Mercedes is going to be putting a lot of R&D into the current spec engines.
I think it's really scary. I think we might see your Merc customer teams, depending on how we're looking for safety cars and such, we may see 2 or 3 laps down this week.
If we don't get a bunch of yellows.
If we don't get a bunch of yellows, we could see 2 or 3 laps down on pure merit because of how bad the Merc engine is this year.
I'm going to hold off on that thought until I kind of see it in action, to be honest.
Yeah, I it's not hey, I think it's going to happen. But I think going off of how much time they're losing per lap, it's a potential.
Do you see, and this is just kind of an offshoot question, do you see Renault ever having an engine on the same level as Merc or Ferrari?
No.
Okay.
It comes down to single engine suppliers have never really historically done amazing.
Unless Prost is driving the car.
In the modern era.
Yeah.
Because so much of it is data gathering, more so than ever has been. Less teams means less data gathering.
No, very fair. Very fair. And
so
I
think we're going to see a mid-season resurgence from any of the Merc customer teams.
I think we will.
I think we will for sure. But is it going to be enough to get anywhere near Ferrari right now?
Absolutely. We're going to see what we were seeing at the end of last season, where teams are going to take their engine penalties for a race where they know they're not going to do as well. Mm-hmm. Which means I will be willing to put money down and say Merc will go ahead and take an engine penalty at Mexico. Because traditionally that is a Red Bull track. Red Bull has always run better at the higher altitudes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to see that cat and mouse game. And honestly, I love that.
That's a ways away. That's a ways away. Who knows how things are going to look that far down the season.
I'm still throwing that out there. I feel confident in them having to do that with how everything started. The beginning of the season has already thrown me for a giant loop. I am just...
Yeah. I remember watching, as everything kind of wrapped up, thinking of things of, what the fuck has just happened, combined with, wait, what the fuck has just happened? Like, two completely different, like, views on of, like, I don't know what's going on.
Things
Like,
we've been saying technically for the last two F1 races.
yeah.
What the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened?
Yeah, like, anything where I'm like, oh, hey, I think this is how things are going to go. Just, other than Ferrari hype train and K-Mag supremacy, like, those are the only things that I'm like, oh, hey, they happened. But, yeah,
Yeah, this was and we don't get that long to breathe, which we'll
No.
talk about the upcoming one.
I think the other big thing we gotta talk about, because we kind of already briefly touched it, is 3 of the 4 Red Bull powertrain vehicles DNF within the last handful of laps.
Really quick on that, did you hear about how Charles played the trick on his engineers?
Yes, on the final lap over the radio, and you could hear like his engineer's response. He was just like dead silent, like,
Checking.
and then he just Charles just, oh, we're all good.
I gotta give it to him. Yeah. So obviously the MGUH blew up on Gasly, and then what we thought was a fuel problem. Cody, you actually found some more news surrounding
Yeah.
what caused the Red Bull main team to go out.
So I know initially it was suspected it was the fuel pump, which is a FIA spec pump. Everyone has the exact same. There was an FIA document put out saying you'll have an extra, I believe I'll say 90 minutes at the end of qualifying before Parc Ferme technically comes into effect for that specific part, so they could do a test on it. So it was believed that that possibly could have been the part that caused all the issues with both of the actual Red Bulls and then Gasly's. Per Eric Van Haren, who is a journalist for a Dutch newspaper, has said, according to sources around both Red Bull and the FIA, the problem was not the fuel pump for Max. They did not say anything regarding checkout, but for Max, it was not a fuel pump problem that caused the engine issues, which it's a little more nerve-wracking than the spec part.
And I completely missed that technical directive that you just mentioned. I actually have it pulled up, and it was only for the cars finishing P1 through P10.
Yep.
For this event only, and in contradiction to the requirements of Article 40.6, blah, 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 you will be allowed to delay the covering of your cars 1 hour later than required in order to inspect the fuel primer pump.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to submit a special request.
Yep.
That was, and I'm sorry, that was on Saturday, not Sunday. So
Yep, that was Saturday after qualifying. Yep.
P1 through P10.
That's
Also,
and then
I guess,
find out it's not that part.
yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Obviously, we'll hear about it later in the week. We'll see which part, because they have to report when they change any part of the engine. So we'll hear about it pretty quick throughout the week.
Yeah, we'll see if it's a fix or anything like that.
I guess 2 other technical things. I did see, I think it was Sainz who got an official warning for his little pit road stunt where he pulled out in front of Fernando during P3.
Yeah,
So he got a slap on the wrist, no penalty points, and then Ocon for spinning Schumi. I did not see any penalty points on that one. I'm actually going to pull up the directive real quick. I am sorry, he got 2 penalty points on top of his 5-second time penalty. Ocon is now sitting on 3 points in a 12-month period.
alrighty. So we're getting up there for a few of the drivers now, but I do know a few fall off. Probably around the middle of the year, if I remember right, with
Let me go
how
look.
some of them.
I'm pulling them up right now. I know we have a few people who are a little
I mean,
high.
Stroll and Valtteri, I know, have a few falling off in the middle of the year. Hungary.
So before the race, this is before the race. I want Take a guess at who has the most.
Norris.
Wrong.
Matt?
Hold on, where? Norris has 0.
Norris has some. 100%.
No.
Norris has some from Baku.
No, he doesn't. I'm looking right at something from Motorsport this year. I swear to you. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see his name. I will take full responsibility for that. 5.
Yeah.
Person with the most has 8, by the way. No, it's not the unnamed driver either. He had 6.
Gotta be Yuki then. Because of Australia, he had a bunch.
Yuki with 8.
Yeah, the two. I know he had some in Austria because of the pit line bullshit.
Yeah, Yuki has 8. Perez, Max, 7. Seb, unnamed driver. King Latifi, 6.
Valtteri has a few. I know that.
Senor Valtteri Bottas has 5.
Yep.
Lancethan, 3. Pierre, 3. Giovinazzi. Yeah. I miss him. I liked Giovinazzi.
Yeah. I know Checo has a handful. I don't remember if you said how many he had.
Checo and Max have 7.
Okay. Yeah.
Lewis only has 2, and that's from the Silverstone crash.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right. In other news, I guess, one that I think you hadn't seen, according to autosport.com, they had asked both Sainz and Bernardo that apparently they are pretty much in agreement or everything but signed regarding a contract extension for Carlos and Ferrari. Per Bernardo, I think we have found an agreement. It's only a matter to translate into paper, which, I mean, like that's probably as good as we're going to get. You don't say that unless something's actually going to happen.
Everything I heard said he had signed. So, I mean, we discussed it before. Verbal agreement. It's pretty much done. We're probably going to see it this week. Pen, paper. Sainz has fit in extremely well at Ferrari.
What an absolute monster move from him.
I'll be honest, I thought he was done leaving McLaren. I thought this was a huge leap that was going to... It had a better chance of crashing and burning than it did being successful. And to see him flourish there has been wonderful. And he really does get along with Charles very well.
He also has... I had seen something on Reddit. Someone talked about... like, his moves are almost always really, really good. Like, all of his movements from one team to another have all been really, really, really good and at the right time. Like, he's done a very good job of going, hey, I need a change, or I think I have a new opportunity here, and really doing a great job on that.
You look back on it, he has moved up every time he's made a move, and I think this is the pinnacle of his career.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him.
For race winner Carlos Sainz very soon.
Oh, I can't wait. I want to see it. I need to see it. And I do apologize. I see we're moving into news. I did have a few other things from Bahrain.
Okay, cool.
I did want to bring up F2.
Of course.
So we did have that, and I specifically wanted to bring up something a little funny to me.
Is what I think it is?
Who?
The pit stop?
Not necessarily the pit stop. It's more, we had somebody almost pull a Lord Mahavir Raghunathan this weekend.
Oh boy.
How did you not hear about this?
I didn't watch F2 at all.
Bruh.
The extent of me watching F2 this weekend was watching two cars leave the pit lane with or leave their pit stall with 3 wheels at the same time.
So Ollie's moved up from F3 to F2.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody I keep an eye on, just because I do watch F2 a little bit. So the record right now, the Lord Mahavir Raghunathan got 9 penalty points in one weekend.
Oh God.
Ollie got 7
Ooh.
in one race. During the 2022 Bahrain feature race, Ollie Caldwell managed to accrue 7 penalty points. By the way, this is from Reddit. Somebody pulled everything together and aggregated it. First two for being out of position on the formation lap, got a 10-second stop go. His third was for limit violations on turn 4, which a lot of people got this weekend. So he got a 5-second penalty for that. His next 2 points were for another turn 4 violation. So he got a drive-through penalty on top of that. And then he got a further 5-second time penalty for working on the car before the 2 previous time penalties had been served.
Dude.
It's a bad weekend.
Yeah.
And I apologize. It was one race for Mahavir. So, yeah, 7 for Ollie in one race. That's bad. For somebody who is supposed to be touted as, I guess, one of the younger favorites, that's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Only thing I really saw from F2 was
Dennis Hauger wrecking during the feature race.
I saw Dennis Hauger fucking trying to leave the pit stall with 3 wheels, and then camera pans to another driver trying to leave their pit stall with 3 wheels.
Hauger finished with no points this weekend.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Logan Sargent got a few.
Yeah, he did.
America.
Merc. Fuck yeah.
Teo Porcher, first place, 25 points. He got none during the sprint, but he won the feature.
Yeah.
And then he got Liam Lawson, who came from that awful incident last year, to being second right now in 24. Obviously, their first race in. So, yeah, I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Let's see. We talked about signs.
So I had a couple things.
Okay.
First off, regarding Mercedes.
I was getting ready to say that. I was looking at our notes.
Yeah. Apparently, according to a couple of places, the most notable one, Automotive and Sport, saying that they are eyeing Imola as their big upgrade weekend, which makes sense. A lot of the teams, kind of the first European race, seem to bring a lot of their upgrades just for logistics and all those parts there. But we will see how that goes. I think that will be interesting to see kind of if there is a kind of big turning point at Imola in Ferrari's backyard.
Do you see it having enough of an impact for them to possibly run for the win?
I think yes, because you have Sir Lewis Hamilton. If you have even a above average car, every race is a potential for a win because of Hamilton.
Very fair. Let me ask this then: a Mercedes 1-2.
No,
is there a realistic chance of that?
I don't think so. I think the
even though it was noted, and you even called this, I will give this to you, that Mercedes was running way better in the slower corners, and the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix is a very high downforce race.
Here is why. Last year, how many 1-2s do we have?
Surprisingly, 1.
Yes. And that was with Hamilton and Max taking each other out. Is kind of what it took. This year we obviously have 1 for 1. And it took Hamilton and Checo having DNFs. Now, if you factor in last year, we had it with 2 top teams, 2 definitively top teams with Red Bull and Mercedes. This year, we have 2, maybe 3, if we count Mercedes being on that level at Imola.
Okay, then I'll even give you a little more leeway. two Mercedes on the podium?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I think that means that only one of the 4 Ferrari Red Bull pairing, or the 2 Ferrari Red Bull
There
pairings.
can be only one. Sorry, I had to.
I don't think you're only getting one out of Sainz, Leclerc, Checo, and Max. I think you get 2.
Fair.
And I think that's why I honestly I don't know if there's going to be very many 1-2s, and we might get like doubled up podiums somewhat frequently, but I don't think so, not yet. And especially if you bring a lot of upgrades, how well do you know how that car is going to work? Like before, bringing upgrades last year, you kind of had an idea of how that car was going to react. This year, they can't even fucking solve porpoising. Yeah,
Which hopefully they have it done. I guess question to you then.
Yeah.
Regarding just Mercedes, when do you see George beating Lewis in a race?
Are we talking solely on merit? Are we talking
just
like
actual finishing order? When do you see it happening?
I think it's...
When do you see George qualifying in front of Lewis? When do you see George beating Lewis in a race?
I don't see George out qualifying Lewis outside of freak circumstance. Podium or in finishing place wise, minus a real shit stop for Lewis or Lewis getting DNF sort of thing, I don't.
Interesting.
George is a great driver, don't get me wrong, but you can't say he's on the same level of Lewis.
I say Lewis, we will have both of them by Spa, which I know is kind of a low down one. I just can't pinpoint
that's
it.
What,
but
like
I think
18 races?
By Spa, we will have a race.
Will it happen?
We will have a race where George will qualify and finish in front of Lewis.
Will it? Probably, yeah. I think it's definitely possible. I think it's too open-ended like, there's too many variables. Like, if we're talking nothing else happening, purely on just straight up pace, speed, no weird bullshit, I don't know if it's by Spa. We're talking some weird, I think there's a good chance it is, but I can't be like 100% sure it's going to happen by Spa.
And what I'm saying is I think it absolutely will be Spa that it happens too.
Oh. All right. Talk about prediction.
Yeah. I see it happening.
Does George get his first win at Spa in the wet? At Redemption?
Hopefully. I mean, in my book, he still doesn't have a podium.
No. I want to see George get a win at Spa. I want to see Charles win Monaco. I don't care how the rest of the season goes.
Oh, Lord. The world will lose its utter shit when he wins there.
And K-Mag supremacy for Drivers' Championship.
Okay, I'm going to throw you out while I move on to the uncertainty of Vettel racing this weekend.
Yeah, so it looks like they are prepping as if Vettel will not be available at Saudi Arabia. Hulkenberg is running heavy on sims. They're kind of keeping him like contracted around sort of thing. And back in the UK running sim versus having him return back home.
I did.
So they are.
He actually said that himself during the post-race reactions. He said he's going to head back. He's going to, very heavy, sit there in the sim, get ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's per Adam Cooper.
I mean, that's not even just Adam Cooper. That's per Nico himself.
Yeah.
I watched it from his mouth on the video.
Yeah. Well, that's where I had seen it from firsthand.
Okay, yeah. F1 talked to him on their special one where they talked to like 10 or 12 drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nico, I'm just going anyway on standby. I guess we'll find out Thursday or Friday. And that's from a planetf1.com article.
Alrighty.
So it's gonna be. I would like to see Vettel back. The world deserves Inspector Vettel.
For sure.
And we
100%. I want Vettel back.
I was going to segue this into something, but we're going to leave it till the end.
I think I got one more thing I want to cover in news. Per Las Vegas Review Journal, F1 to announce a new Las Vegas race imminently, as soon the race being as soon as 2023.
What in
Thoughts?
cinnamon toast fuck are they going to do with the schedule? That's all I got to say to that.
It is believed to be the U.S.'s new flagship race. Could that mean no Coda?
No, can't get rid of Coda.
Even with the shit show the track has become?
Can't get rid
The
of
actual
Coda.
racing surface as a whole?
Can't get rid of Coda. I'm in denial here. Can't get rid of Coda.
It's kind of will bring us into a later topic later, but
I will
F1
say
follows the money. And Coda's not going to pay enough.
Logistically, it's a nightmare getting to
Oh,
Coda.
fuck yeah.
You say, oh, fuck yeah. I have personally driven there for multiple just race weekends
Yeah.
that were not NASCAR or F1, and it was still awful.
Mm-hmm.
It's off of a toll road in the middle of nowhere. You only know you're at Coda because it's the only track. It's the only thing you see out in the distance. It's a beautiful track. They have a wonderful place. I don't want it to leave
because the
it's
Vegas race
wonderful.
won't be fucking hard to get to or anything.
I mean, they're going to have the infrastructure ready. It's like,
Will they though? At least with Coda, they were able to build it where the fuck they wanted. This is a fucking road
they
race
built it wherever
on
the
strip.
fuck they built it wherever the fuck they wanted and still fucked up the infrastructure. I'm sorry, but as a
That's just
Texan,
Texas for you.
I'm gonna tell whoever decided on that part to go fuck off because that is awful.
Yeah, that's just Texas
The infrastructure's awful there. But I will still be in denial because Coda is a beautiful track. It's got wonderful features. I don't want it to see it
what's
go
better,
away.
the infrastructure on Coda or your guys' power grid?
The infrastructure at Coda.
So quit complaining then, damn it.
I don't want to lose it. And a lot of sources I've been seeing over the months are talking about 3 races as if
Makes
we're not
sense.
going to lose Coda. However, I'm thinking logistics. I'm thinking, and you've heard me complain about this, just how they travel everywhere. I don't understand their logistics a lot of the time.
Put it
And how easy it would be for them to just do Vancouver, Austin, Mexico City, Interlagos.
I mean, they've kind of done that exact thing, except
Not
without Canada. But you can't.
But-
Either you're in the middle
but-
of fucking winter, or
but-
you're
but-
in
but-
Austin and Brazil and Mexico City in the middle of the summer, and you're gonna melt
Well,
the
no,
cars
it's in
to
the
fucking
fall.
track.
It's still kind of warm, and I understand why they do Canada when they do because it's here in the warmest part of the year. So I'm not going to be completely ignorant to that. And I will say they come to America after doing a swing over through Singapore and Suzuka,
which is
which
actually not terrible.
which does make sense logistically. I will give Formula One that.
Yeah.
But the time frame for Las Vegas almost sounds like they're going to do Austin, Mexico City, Interlagos, Las Vegas, and then springboard over
I'm
to Yas
actually
Marina.
I'm actually seeing something different from what I'm seeing, especially now with the Russian GP cancel. Is they're gonna move Singapore and Japan up a little bit, have that as a double header, and then they're gonna do a double header or maybe triple header of
In North America?
a U.S. North America sort of thing.
Oh,
where
I
it's
would
gonna
love that. Vegas. Okay.
Or it'll be Vegas and/or Coda, whatever order that is. And then Mexico City. Have
2 week.
a little bit. Have a 2-week gap. Do a Brazil and then into Abu Dhabi for the last 2 races. That's what I'm hearing.
I would like that. I will sign off on that.
So that way, it's not actually changing anything that what we have this year. Which, logistically, this year is one of the better ones in comparison to the past 2 years that we've had with the COVID struggles.
You just got
This
us
year,
demonetized on
logistically,
YouTube.
actually, what?
You just got us demonetized on YouTube.
Nice.
I'm not going to edit it out. Don't worry.
Well, we can't get monetized anyway. We're under 1,000. Who gives a shit?
AdSense.
You can't get anything.
Anyways, yeah, that'd be a cool swing. Hey Cody,
Yeah.
it's Rossik.
Is it? Is that what this is?
It's Rossik.
Not only is it Rossik, but it's Rossik after a Ferrari one too.
I have all the hope in the world.
He's
And
finally joined the hype train? Is that what I'm hearing?
I will be on the hype train after 2 more races. Talk to me after Australia. Actually, no. Talk to me after Imola.
No. I'm going to talk to you right fucking now. And we're going to talk about
because
how...
we're on a fucking podcast together.
Starting next week, we have a guest host replacing Faxi.
Also, special breaking news. Cody can go fuck himself.
It's a literal pile of garbage.
How did you find a picture of me?
Selfie.
Oh, fuck off. I hate it when you're right.
Alrighty, so next week, Jeddah. I believe you termed it the true test for this car.
100% true test, high speed. We get the high speed corners. I mean, this is going to be the true litmus to where we see how the car of 2022 is going to do. Looking at F1's hot and cold, or hot or not, or whatever the fuck they call it. I know there were a few drivers who were talking about how much easier it is to follow.
Yeah.
And I mean, this track is going to be the true test.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely insane.
I mean, right off the bat, you've got turns 1, 2, and 3, which McLaren are going to dominate. Or Mercedes are going to dominate.
McLaren's going to dominate from 19th and 20th.
Really? The part of the track I'm most looking forward to is after they come out of the UE in turn 13. When they start going down, quote unquote, the back straight.
Yeah.
Because that whole section, 19, 20, 21, even 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, even into 27.
Whole sector 3.
Oh, yeah. This is going to show, was the hype, was the R&D, was it all worth it? And I think it is.
100%. I know a quote from K-Mag was, following is a lot better.
He was the one I saw.
So much better. And I think this way of racing is a lot more fun and rewarding. Which everything we saw showed it is absolutely some of the best racing we have seen in a long, long time.
So I'm looking at a layout right now of Hamilton at Saudi Arabia 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually shows his gear shifts throughout a lap.
Mm-hmm.
In that third sector, where is it? I'm trying to actually pinpoint if you're looking at the track right now yourself.
I'm not.
Okay, well, good, because I fucking hate this track. Let's be fucking honest. Yeah, so once he comes out of that UE, so turn 13,
mm-hmm.
he was in 4th gear still.
Okay, yeah.
He goes up into 5th gear and does not drop to 3rd until he gets to the final turn.
Yeah.
That entire second part of the second sector and all through sector 3, that is the true test.
100%.
I cannot wait to see it. Bahrain, I think, is a better test track than Barcelona.
Oh, Bahrain's better in every single way than Barcelona.
I think Barcelona gets shit on a little too much, but we'll talk about that when Barcelona comes around.
Like, I'll have my whole rant just on Sector 3 of that piece of shit track.
It's almost like you and I play sim racing.
Almost like we do. But also because it's shit racing even to watch.
I mean, agreed, but I think that was because of all the testing there.
I think Sector 3 is just poorly designed. Again, we got a few weeks until we have to worry about
Yeah.
hating on the Spanish GP.
Yeah.
That might be a two-parter, just one part of just hating on that whole fucking track.
But anyways, back to Jeddah, which is a track I personally don't like. But maybe that'll change with how this new car is.
I like the track.
You only
I
like
don't
the track
like
because it's fun to drive on Formula 1 2021. Don't even.
I don't. No. I actually think it's a really cool track. I don't like everything else surrounding that track, which we'll get to later.
Okay. Driver to watch.
I got two.
Okay.
One, Leclerc.
Oh, I thought you were going to say K-Mag.
I think to see if he can repeat, just put the same performance in, drive his absolute ass off.
Okay.
And two, K-Mag. It has to be. I think the most ridiculous performer that no one expected going into that at all. Anyone who says, "Oh yeah, I expected Magnussen to get fifth." I mean, I was fucking hyped. I was all aboard the K-Mag supremacy train. But come on, I didn't even expect that.
None of us did. I mean, some people on Twitter were saying they've got enough Gunter Steiner quotes to last a lifetime just from this first weekend.
I want more. I want more.
It's going to be a fun Drive to Survive for people to watch next year. I personally never watched any of the Drive to Survive.
Neither have I.
Oh, good. I'm not alone.
I don't watch TV, so.
Oh, you're weird like that.
I'm a movie person, man. Come on.
Says the guy who only plays Destiny over here. I got two drivers.
One day you'll play Stellaris.
I love Stellaris. What are you talking about?
Yeah, one day you'll play it and do your whole playthrough that you've been talking about for months.
I've actually started that. Anyway, sir, that's off topic.
Whole fucking thing's off topic.
My two drivers. Mick.
Ooh.
I want to see a little better from Mick. And this is a thought I had. Zhou Guan Yu has Valtteri to work with.
Mm-hmm.
That is a wonderful mentor. Mick had and that silence should speak for itself.
Yep.
Having K-Mag is going to help his career significantly. Not only somebody who has been driving with Haas, but somebody who has been around to a bunch of the teams. I want to see him this week just to see I'm looking for even the tiniest bit of progression from him. It was easy for him to be the number one driver at Haas last year. Now I'm ready to see him step up. Mm-hmm. I mean, just that's what it comes down to. I'm ready to see him step up. Other driver, Fernando.
El Plan.
I'm watching him to see how long he's going to stay around.
If Alpine has a down year, does he retire?
No, he doesn't pull a McLaren and retire. I think he's a little more...
It's not part of El Plan?
I feel like he's a little more vested with Alpine.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not as much hype surrounding him anymore.
Even with Piastri waiting in the wings?
I mean, yeah. Even with that. Even with pastry.
Australian pastry.
Australian pastry, I love it. I'm looking to see when his contract is up real quick.
I believe he's on 1 year's.
Okay, yeah, he's on this.
1 years.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, you might be right. I feel like I'm going to keep an eye on him. We're going to see how he goes. We're going to watch. I'm watching his racing. I'm watching his temperament.
Mm-hmm.
He loves racing.
Yeah.
And he's already shown he has no problem going elsewhere. I mean, he had the disaster with McLaren trying to get into Indy.
Yeah.
Hell, he would probably go over to IMSA. Team
Fernando
up with
Alonso driving monster trucks?
No. Actually, that'd be kind of cool.
That'd
Yo,
be
him versus
hilarious.
Robbie Gordon with stadium trucks.
Oh, God. Hey, he can go join Jimmy Johnson in Indy.
Get out. You already shit on Jimmy.
Hey, unrelated. We were going to talk about Indy. He finished, if I want to say, 6th in an oval race. All right, Jimmy, his first oval race. All right, I see you, Jimmy.
We'll touch on that. We'll touch on that during outro.
All right.
Podiums.
All right. So recap what we have.
We have no points.
So we have no points.
But I would like to revise how our points are tallied.
Okay.
Obviously, we'll give our 1, 2, 3, but if any of our drivers finish on the podium, we should get the 5, 3, or the 1.
I think. How about 6, 4, 2, 1 point just for getting him on the podium, right?
Okay, there you go. 6, 4, 2, and if you get the podium place right, you get the extra point.
So that will put us. They'll put me at 2 and you at 1.
Wait, how do I have 1 if it's 6, 4, 2?
Because you only have one driver correctly on the podium. So if you get him on the podium, if you have him on the podium at the wrong spot, you get 1 point.
Okay, but if you get them correctly, it's 6, 4, 2. Okay.
Then you get that appropriate.
Okay.
So I have 2 with Lewis and Charles on the podium. You have 1 point for Lewis.
Who's your pick?
Honestly, I'm riding momentum. I'm going to go Charles, Max, and Carlos.
Max, Carlos, Charles. No. Carlos, Charles, Max. Final answer.
All right. It is on the sheet. It is locked in.
I just threw my hands up at that. Yeah. Who's your dark horse to possibly make some noise? I'm still going with Mick. I was right with Yuki, so I'm hoping
Okay, so this is dark horse to make points.
dark horse to do way better than they usually do.
It's hard because a lot of the drivers
or anything. So
it's hard because a lot of the drivers we expected to not do well did really well.
I figured you would be looking at Lando or Daniel to have a better weekend.
I think it's got to be Valtteri. As my driver
Another
to
good
watch.
week?
I think another good week.
Okay. I will give you that as a dark horse to show that it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, that's kind of points. I think it's going to be showing that, oh, hey, this isn't a one-time thing. That this is Alpha is showing up.
Did you hear? Oh, wait, you were the one who posted it to me that he WhatsApped Toto. It said, I can't wait to race y'all.
Yeah.
That fucking underhand shade. God damn it, Valtteri. To those who may be concerned, I salute you.
Per racefans.net, Valtteri Bottas sent Mercedes Toto Wolff a WhatsApp message after qualifying saying he's looking forward to racing his cars tomorrow.
Get fucked.
As he shared a starting grid row with Lewis Hamilton.
Get fucked, Toto. That's what he said right there.
Oh, 100%. Alrighty. Anything else that you have left for Rossiek?
No, nothing for Rossiek. I just was getting ready to say, speaking of get fucked, Cody.
Yeah. All right. So
before the season, I said that, obviously we've got a lot going on in the world and we would try to shy away, and you said no more. We have to talk about this. And honestly, I fucking agree with you.
It's rant time. Fuck hype train and K-Mag supremacy. Right now, we're going to talk about some We Races 1 bullshit. That's honestly what it is. You can't... It is solely a marketing thing that pisses me off more than it will ever do any actual help. Capitalism. And corruption. The two C's that are pillars in everything business right now.
And F1, but you got Ferrari as part of the corruption, but that's aside right now.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's everything as a whole, every team, no matter how much you like them, dislike them, they're all just as much a part of the problem. And it sucks that a sport that we love so dearly has such a big problem at its absolute core.
You want to know something
You know,
funny regarding this? And by funny, I mean it's sad. So I'm
all
actually
of it.
on Formula One's We Races One webpage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the last
Propaganda site?
time they posted anything under their diversity and inclusion was back in October.
Because it only matters when it's for marketing, if it makes them money. That's why they're racing in places with horrible track records of human rights. They don't
Money.
give a single fuck.
Money.
Because they're getting paid for it.
Money.
Huh? Hey, you tell frickin' anywhere. Doesn't matter what. Now, I'm pretty sure if it wasn't for all the sanctions, you're telling me that they wouldn't have kept racing in Russia right now?
Oh, they absolutely would have. And
100% would have.
Nikita would still be a driver.
100%.
He's only not driving because of the sanctions against his dad.
Exactly. That they don't care. I mean, all the stuff going on in Western China right now, and you bet your ass they're definitely going to keep doing what they're doing, trying to get a race back there. And Alpha bringing Guan Yu Zhou for the Chinese market that they know is huge, just to get him, a few tens of millions of dollars. Why? It doesn't matter whether it's FIA as an organization, teams as corporations, and they're gonna keep focusing on money as they quote unquote race as one. You can't focus as much as you do on the publicity of human, where racing is one, when not allowing drivers to wear shirts and poster interviews that are highlighting these injustices that are going on in the world. You can't allow a driver who sexually assaulted someone to be driving for you and then let the team handle it when in reality nothing actually happened because they were getting paid to have nothing happen.
And just
it is
seeing all the hype around Gunter Steiner with Drive to Survive when he didn't do shit with Nikita.
Yep.
And I mean, yeah, we were just talking about, before I went live, I mentioned, hey, if you actually watch this, oh, well, I'm going to show you this clip where Gunter actually told Nikita, this is why nobody fucking likes you. Well, you had a chance to fire him.
I don't think he did.
Way back when. Oh, I mean, he couldn't have, because
Daddy Mazepin. I mean, to be fair, Gene Haas as a whole, kind of has been found guilty of,
Yikes.
tax fraud. So, I mean,
honestly, one of the reasons why I want Seb back is just to have him for Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah.
Another repeat of what he did last year. If
100%.
it was not for Seb and Lewis, I don't know what I'd do.
No. They're the two drivers I care about outside of just them racing. Obviously, I want every driver to be able to go home safe. That's sort of like common, human decency sort of shit. But they're the ones that are actually going to make a difference in this world, albeit however small. Yeah, they're both now at a place of privilege, but they're still doing what they can to speak out.
They use that privilege for the greater good. That right there.
They use their privilege to create a platform.
Seb literally spent time after Silverstone picking up trash with volunteers.
Yeah. I mean, look at him.
Look at Saudi Arabia last year.
Yep.
He set up that women's karting thing.
Yeah. All of his pride stuff that he wore was it Hungary?
Yeah, it was Hungary. He got in trouble because he didn't wear a FIA approved shirt.
Yep.
On the grid.
Hence them now also cracking down on not allowing drivers to show T-shirts and posters and reviews. You had Lewis at Silverstone wore the shirt that was arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor.
Yep.
Shirt. And he got scolded for that. Don't look at the words that the FIA and F1 are saying, because their words are bullshit. Look at their actions. And it's
100%.
not ever going to change as long as they're getting paid.
It's something we have to be conscious of as fans of the sport.
Yep.
We have a duty to not just blindly let them off for anything. I grew up with the notion of if you love something, you tend to be more critical with it because you want it to become better.
Yeah.
Better even. God, worst time for my lisp to kick in. You want it to become better. And we would like the FIA. Yeah, they're making great strides with sustainability. That's great. How about having a better track record with working with human rights? Which honestly, if they truly cared about human rights, they wouldn't be looking at a third U.S. race.
No.
And I said what I said.
No, they shouldn't. They should have taken a second one. And to be fair, we're at a spot right now where everywhere is going to have some sort of human rights issues.
God,
It's just the nature of how things are going. But it's a matter of being mindful of them and still trying to actually do something. Because taking a picture in, We Races 1 shirts on the grid doesn't mean shit. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to try and make the world a better place.
The only thing I will give any credit for to F1 is I forget who said it, but they're like, okay, we're not gonna let y'all we're not gonna let y'all sit on a knee anymore during the pre-race stuff because now it's time for action.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they just kind of said
What
that,
action?
and then they didn't do anything. It's almost like they looked at Seb and they're like, okay, go do something, make us look good, please. Like,
go clean the stands in of the race. No, it's a joke.
The FIA needs to show initiative. Just having W Series drivers try out for Formula 3 isn't enough.
No.
That's the last time they posted.
I hate to say it. Either way, I don't think anything the FIA will actually do will ever be enough in my eyes. Because it's trying to balance out all the negative that they're actually bringing. They are, essentially endorsing by taking these regimes, which is half of the places they race are regime and not actual governments. Money. It's going to cancel out any of the good they do.
And I'm even looking through their website, literally on the what we're doing. Okay, let's scrutinize what we're doing. Let's see. Governance and oversight. So they have pledged $1 million by our chairman and CEO to support engineering scholarships. And the FIA has also pledged 1 million euros from its FIA Innovation Fund to improve diversity in the sport. I don't give any... Yeah, they give no specifics here. I feel like they could have deep dove into that a little better. I also feel like 1 million is pocket change to them.
100%.
Let's move on here.
Let's guess how much Saudi Arabia pays for that Grand Prix.
Yike. He went there, and I'm glad he did. Let's see. F1 is committed to promoting a culture of inclusion. All staff will undergo mandatory diversity and inclusion. I'll give a small thing to the FIA. We don't really hear anything bad coming out of their base, talking about racism or sexism or anything, or maybe I just haven't looked deep enough. I will be completely honest there. If anybody
it's
sees
hard to have sexism when it's only men working there in the first place.
Yike, let's go. Fucking call it out.
And I will say, the only two people who have actually done anything, there's been a lot of crap that's come out by a lot of different drivers of not really doing something. I know sometimes people get more critical of Lewis with that, which a lot of times comes from a place of deep-seated racism, if we're being honest here. Seb and Lewis are doing something.
Okay, here's an actual positive.
I can be a huge supporter of a lot of other drivers. Versus those are the two who are actually going out and doing something about it. You got one positive?
Here's a positive. To ensure safeguards and salary review processes, we are continuously monitoring pay gaps across different demographics. I'll give them that.
Yeah, that's cool that they're monitoring their employees. But what about the pretty much indentured slaves that built the Saudi Arabia track? It's cool, great. You're paying your however many employees
Well,
a
okay, I
livable.
will give it to them that they can't govern that, but at the same time, they could
Well,
have easily
then
put that
don't
into
race
the
there.
contract.
Then don't race there.
They could have easily put that into the contract. Do you have sources backed up on how much they
How
or
much what?
anything? I could have sworn we read stuff about how bad it was actually building that track.
I have stuff here. Let me
While you're
pull
going,
up some.
I'll continue to kind of look through this. I'll also give them this very small thing too. They're actually doing paid internships. So that unpaid internships needs to go away. I'm sorry, that's just fucking awful. Formula One's undertaking a holistic review of our recruitment retention processes. Okay. In the paddock, paid internship and apprenticeship opportunities for talent. With the okay, so they're working with the teams to bring in more diverse backgrounds. I'll give them that. Working with the teams for an even playing field. Okay, I will say the FAI has put a little more heavier hand with karting, and they're trying to find a little more inclusion there. I will give them that too.
I mean,
Collaborating with the W Series. I mean, considering the W Series is considered a Formula 3 category,
yeah.
international W3 category, makes sense. I would like to be able to see their races on F1 TV. I tried and I can't. I would love to.
I think the big thing with pretty much 90% of the races that you have in the Middle East right now are just pretty much just sports washing examples, trying to improve their reputation through hosting shit. Like, I think it's Formula One is the biggest example of it. I mean, Russian GP, Abu Dhabi, Turkey, China, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. They're all examples of where they have notoriously bad human rights histories. But who gives a shit because we race as one because they're paying us to.
In the end, I feel like we can be fans of the sport, but still be very critical of FIA,
100%.
be very critical of the teams, be very critical of everything surrounding it. We love it. We want it to become better. And that's where I'm going to kind of leave it.
Works for me. I 100% agree. Leave your thoughts on what's kind of a very divisive kind of topic. So if you are one of the people watching on YouTube or harassing us on Twitter or other social medias, let us know what you think.
Only people
and this will wrap
Twitter
up.
is you harassing me.
I think our Twitter is us harassing each other.
Speaking in a positive light of harassing, that Indy finish.
Yeah, it was something. I know you're a big Scott McLaughlin fan. He almost had it.
I've been on the Scott McLaughlin hype train. I was sad he didn't do as well last year. This year he is absolutely flying. I'm happy for him. I'm also happy to see Romain driving on ovals overall, because originally when he went into Indy.
Yeah.
And I like how in the middle of last year he's like, okay, I'm going to do ovals. So he chose St. Louis, and then it turned out he talked about how fun it was.
There was, I can't remember if it was Jimmy or Grosjean, but something about how Texas feels really bumpy. And one of the commentators like, well, you're going to hate so-and-so track because it's even worse. Wish I remember. No thoughts or brain right now. But yeah, I think it was one hell of a race. I know I kind of watched the early on section of it and then saw the highlights for the end because I passed out. But I knew Garden with the win. Final turn. Able to pass through some lap traffic and stuff. I mean, it's better than winning by a lap.
I mean, yeah, I'll give it that.
Or brake checking someone.
Nice ticket, Max. There. What
Of course.
aside from the race, what you watching this weekend?
I mean, of course, it's always going to be the race. I mean,
Aside from the race, hence why I just saw that.
right now, I watch everything sports. So as we get kind of into the springtime, it's wonderful March Madness. I watch college basketball, and then my Minnesota Wild. I'm a big hockey fan.
Oh, you cheer for them?
I know. I'm sorry. You guys had to steal our team.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Shite.
I'm gonna watch the Quidditch World Championships or something. I don't fucking know.
NASCAR's racing at Coda this weekend.
Ooh.
So hopefully we get a race that's not completely rain drenched like it was last year.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle the bumpiness.
They
Especially
handle it.
with
They handle it very well.
But especially the new gen.
I still think they'll handle it very well. It's just they tried to race on a waterlogged track and they got shit on for it. Yeah, Sunday 3:30. So we will be clear of the actual race. Formula One. When do we get the race? We get it at. Wow, good job, Autoweek.com. They said 12:55 a.m. for the start time live of the Saudi Arabian.
I'm pretty sure that's not it.
It's p.m. So 1 p.m. we get lights out and away we go because they always do it at the 5-minute mark before the race.
Yeah.
I actually get to watch the race live this time.
Let's go.
I did. I watched the race live last time. I was in the hotel room. I pulled it up on my cell phone, and I did watch the race. And then when I got home, one of my friends in my streaming Discord really wanted to watch it, and I usually put on the race in 30 for her since I pay for F1 TV.
Mm-hmm.
But I will be up. I will be alert. I will be watching the Formula One race. I'm going to keep an eye on NASCAR at Coda. We're also smoking a bunch of racks of ribs this weekend, so I will be consumed with cooking. And then,
so
thank God there's no.
Are you saying that a Red Bull engine won't be the only thing smoking?
Yike!
All right, I'm not. We're ending it.
I mean, I was gonna say, I'm glad there's no race next weekend because I'll be at a LAN. So I won't be able to watch anything while I'm in a very dark room surrounded by a bunch of nerds at LAN all night in Grapevine. Absolutely gaming my ass off.
It'll still smell worse than an F1 driver's race suit.
People shower there. I will give them that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I will say, okay, while we're closing out, it was probably one of the most fun things I've had happen Formula One wise. It was Sunday. I watched practice pretty much all weekend because I pay for a 6-foot area so I can have both two monitors. I have a 3 monitor setup here at home.
Fucking nerd.
I mean, the fuck do you expect from me? So, like, I got my big curved one. I've got my shitty little HP. I brought the big one in an HP, and I would just watch practice, and then race day. I had to do a bunch of IRL events at the LAN, and when I got back, I noticed like 5 or 6 guys huddled around. I go over there, and they're watching the Mexican GP. So a bunch of LAN guys and me, we're all huddled around watching this, and we got to watch that Max Checo 1-2. That was just absolutely wonderful as a Checo fan. It's sad that we won't get to have that same thing, but I mean, I'm just going to rub it in again that I get to have smoked ribs. So go ahead and take us out while I'm drooling about those.
All right. I have to add, I know one of my good friends who has been really on board with this whole podcast and giving a lot of feedback. Didn't like that I brought up some memories of him watching his very first F1 race being the 2020 Bahrain GP and the dead silence we had. Braves, I just want to say too bad. Well, that will wrap it up here for our 2022 Saudi Arabia Grand Prix episode here with the 107% podcast crew. I'm the Papaya Menace, Cody Catos Miller, and joining me, as usual, was a Tifosi fanboy himself, Faxi the Greek Optimist.
Hey.
Thank you all for tuning in, whether on Spotify or on YouTube, and make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at the 107 Podcast on all of them. And that's going to be it for us today. Y'all have a good one.
Ferrari 1-2, let's go.
Let's go.